Well, with us right now is Stuart Spencer of Advanced Ear Care. Always good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Ken.
Good morning. Good morning to you. And we got several things we're going to talk about today. And a couple of them are related and other ones are totally different, right?
Sure.
We're going to get updates on the willow tree and all kinds of things. But first of all, you've talked about this before, and what you call this is test everyone. Because when we all reach a certain age, whatever that age may be, you have some natural hearing loss, no matter what. Just like your eyes aren't as good as what they used to be.
For the most part, that's right. For the most part, yeah. You know, we've tested some people up in their 90s that have like perfect hearing.
Yeah.
But it's pretty few and far between.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our initiative there, and it came from a friend of mine, and it's just test everybody. And it's really pretty remarkable. And the reason I bring it back is because we found so many great results with it. For instance, I had a gentleman in last week. I've seen him for 5 years, 6 years. He always has his wife with him. And so I said, hey, how about we test you, And how's your hearing? She said, I'm not so sure. So we tested her. She had like half her hearing was gone.
Really?
And I said, why haven't you ever mentioned anything, And she said, I've got neuropathy and I didn't think I could really handle the hearing aid. And I said, gosh, we have so many different alternatives than what your husband wears.
Yeah.
He wears a small one in the ear with the tiny batteries. So I could see her thinking, oh, I can't do that, So I showed her some different options. She was like, oh, wow, okay. And I thought, I've seen her how many times? I didn't ask her to test her hearing, and I checked it, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. So, we've tested spouses, and we even tested, sons or daughters that come in with their parents and bring them in. It's just fun, and they get to find out where they're at, get a little baseline for their hearing, and everybody just, gets a little more information. So
what's interesting is, and I'm gonna ask you this because obviously you know it better than I do. People will generally, when they reach a certain age, go their once-a-year checkup with their doctor, so to speak.
Sure.
And then, I think in the same token, go see their dentist once or twice a year, and the eye doctor, maybe once or twice a year.
Sure.
But I think people bypass getting their hearing tested.
Yeah.
Am I right?
It's so true, Ken.
Yeah.
And I always tell our clients that come in that say, yeah, I get by, I'm doing fine, I always tell them, hearing loss is so amazing because it's so gradual and it's so invisible and it's painless.
Yeah,
everybody
that's
thinks,
true.
That's just the way it is. And to them, their hearing's normal.
Yeah.
They could have lost half their hearing or 25, 30% of their hearing. They don't know any different.
Yeah.
They only know the way they hear, Then we show them how they can hear better. They're like, oh my goodness, I should have done this a long time ago. So people are reluctant to come in for a hearing test because of those factors. And they don't really think there is a problem. And many times, of course, it's the motivation of a spouse or family member that says, come on, we're going to go test your hearing because it's gotten so bad. But, we'd like to catch them a lot earlier than that.
And in some cases, as I said, it's not unusual to have kind of a slow lessening of your hearing, or certainly high frequencies and things like that. We know that. We've talked about that before. Yep. Once you get past like 20, 25, you stop hearing some of those higher frequencies. And that part's normal, right?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We just like to catch everybody as early as possible. Now there are so many different studies that show how important it is to be hearing, in relationship to cognitive decline, and really, keeping your brain stimulated as much as it can be so it doesn't evolve into something, a lot worse, like, leading towards Alzheimer's and dementia. There's studies from Dr. Lin showing, people over a long period of time, were 4 or 5 times more likely to have those conditions, if they had untreated hearing loss. And other studies are coming out to support that, and who wants that?
Yeah, and you've mentioned this before. Sometimes you're out with family and friends at a restaurant or just in a group gathering, and if you're not hearing the conversation really well, you kind of retreat a little bit.
Oh, that's exactly right. We hear it all the time, and it just starts to become a circle of isolation.
Yeah.
And so, then they don't talk up, and we'll have spouses come and say, God, he's such a great guy, and he's always so interactive, and now he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen if they say something? They're afraid, they'll be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Or really frustrated.
Right.
Trying to hear and understand when they're really fighting with that. So, we want to get everybody back in the game.
All right, sounds good. Now, here's something that I haven't thought about before, and I think maybe you touched on it once or twice at one time. Hearing at night, and what we're talking about, of course, is late at night, most people, I assume, maybe I'm wrong, take out their hearing aids.
Yeah, almost
Am
everybody
I right?
does. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So, if you have a mild to moderate hearing loss, there's really not much of an issue there.
Yeah.
But it gets down to a severe loss or profound loss. A lot of these people take their hearing aids out, and they're off the air. They couldn't hear somebody knock at the door. They couldn't even hear a fire alarm. A phone ring, things like that would be, early warning signs to somebody that there was a problem, whatever that may be, And so, what we've started to do is just fit them with real small, in the canal kind of hearing aids so it doesn't bother their sleeping, but, they can wear one in one ear, and so they could hear those type of situations arise, and, then they can put the regular hearing aids on.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
Get
switch
right
them
back
out.
on the air, yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of people have really felt a lot more secure about that.
Of course.
Especially people living alone, right?
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I don't think we've really talked about that before. Maybe we did years ago.
Yeah.
Stuart's been coming on for a long time, so I'm sure we did at one point. Here's another thing that is going to help people for obvious reasons. If your hearing aids aren't fitting you right, and what we're talking about here is physically fitting
That's
you
correct.
right, guess what's happened? You're not going to wear them, or they're going to make your ear uncomfortable or sore, right?
Oh, there's a lot of this, it's just amazing. We see a lot of it, people's ears kind of change a little bit for one reason or another, and, people just put up with it.
Yeah.
They just think, it's a little loose, that's all right, I'll just keep pushing it back in.
Yeah.
They keep shoving it back in all day long, whether it's an earbud or a custom product, even with the over-the-ear Ricks. We have the custom earbuds, but, I just wanted everybody to know, if it's, loose or tight, we want to make it right, is what we say. So, they're more comfortable wearing them. The performance is better if they're fit properly, and they stay in the ear. They get a better acoustic performance, and they end up hearing better. So those little issues are a big deal, and so if somebody has one of those kind of problems, just come in. It's usually a very simple fix.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do? Take like
we
put
can,
a little mold in there?
We have all
put
sorts
some
of
clay in there and kind of pull it out.
I always tease people when it's tight. I said, we'll just have to drill a bigger hole. But we have so many great materials today to work with. UV materials, where we put them on the hearing aids, basically like a liquid plastic. Put it under UV light, and it sets up harder than a rock. And so we can modify that type of stuff to seal a hearing aid better, make it more comfortable. We can certainly modify shells by taking some material off or just changing the size of the earbuds that they have. It's just really simple. Or even, with the little over-the-ear types, just taking a little cord and just bending it a little different way so that it just sits in the ear a little bit better and makes it just more casual to wear, and sometimes it looks a lot better too.
Yeah. And I've got to tell you that when we know Stuart, he just pulled it out. You don't even see it.
Yeah, no, they're really cosmetically appealing, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Now we're going to talk about something that's very close to your heart and something you do quite often, and you and your staff and all kinds of people go to different parts of the world with the Starkey Hearing Foundation. In this case, it was Armenia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was early last month, and Brandon, my son, that works with us there in the office, he has for about 7 years now. He went to Armenia for 12 days with the staff from Starkey Hearing Foundation. They ended up seeing over 1,700 people.
Wow.
And, this was a hailstorm.
I was going to ask.
It was like golf ball size hail. They had to stop because they were afraid it was going to crack the windshield.
Yeah, I looked at that picture. Stuart sent this the other day, and I thought, is it a storm, or are you at like the Great Salt Lake type of place, salt deposit somewhere?
Yeah, no, they had these big hail balls.
Yeah.
They had some in the hand too.
Yeah.
You could kind of see the size. So they ran into some weather there, that's for sure. But they weather it all, and they work really hard. 1,700 people is a lot in 12 days, and of course some of those are travel days from one city to the other. But we continue to help people around the world. And whether we can help people or not, there's Brandon there. Whether they have money or they don't have money, we try to find a way to help them to hear better.
Now, I was going to ask, ear impressions. Is that what you're kind of talking about, to make molds of the ear so you can go back and make
Right. So, he was on a phase 1 mission where they tested all these people. They look in their ears, check for wax, check for ear infections. They have doctors, that give them medications if that's the case, flush out their ears if they have those kind of problems, test their hearing, then shoot impressions. Then in October, they'll go back for a phase 2 mission, which is fitting all those 1,700 people.
Wow.
And and getting them, that's really the wow kind of moment, that we get to share. And so he'll go back in October and be able to be part of that team. And it's really great. All these people from all over the world, getting together to use their skills to help people to hear better and really re-engage them back into their societies, back into their families and their friendships, school many times. And it's really great work. So we always like to mention that, it's just part of us giving back.
Yeah, fantastic. And all the different people that are part of this. It's amazing because it's I know you help out, but as you said, you get people from all over the world, right?
Yeah,
with the Starkey Foundation.
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, let's get an update of the Willow Tree. Of course, the Willow Tree is where Advanced Air Care is located, Willow Tree Center, I should say. And if anybody's passed by there, you can see that they're building, building out, I should say, the facades, and they're starting at the area where the grocery stores are going to go in, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's good old snail's pace.
Yeah.
So, they're starting to do some of the stuff in the exterior of the center. They've cut down some trees, they're redoing the parking lots. They've got that all re-engineered. They're going to start to move towards our way to, redo the outside as well. And like I say, it's about 10 years too late, but we're happy that it's getting done. It's really going to look nice when they're completed. So they're still shooting for November. So
they are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of the opening of the markets.
That's what they're shooting for.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Knock on wood.
Well, if you said to me earlier, you can see they're doing the outside, but the important thing is the inside.
Yep, now they're getting to the inside stuff and starting to do the build out in there. So yeah, so that usually goes a lot faster than the infrastructure stuff does.
Yeah.
The wiring and all that.
Especially with within Aldi, a grocery store.
Right.
Once everything's set in, they can move in a day or two.
Right, they just drop it in,
really fast.
So we're excited about that. Great to see you, Ken.
Yeah, I
Thanks
can't
for having
wait.
me today.
We'll have to come over there once it's all done and take a look.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. So again, Advanced Air Care, right over there at the Willow Tree Center. And probably by November, there'll be a new market there, and then they'll move down to Stewart's office and redo that, right?
That's right.
All right. You can call them at 949-777-6521, advancedaircare.com, and we'll see you in about a month.
All right, we'll look forward to it, Ken.
Take care.
Thank you.
Always good to see you. We'll be back.